Hello, Ariel. Good evening.
Hello, teacher. Hi.
Hi. Hi. Good evening. How was your week? Today's Friday, so long week, I think.
Yeah, but luckily for me, we have like a little recess in our work, so it wasn't so much. Most sorry, it wasn't much of a burden. No, no era una semana cargada de trabajo,
Yeah, that's good.
or it wasn't a workloaded week.
Yeah, I felt this week was kind of long. Maybe it's just, I don't know, the weather or something. You're from Cochabamba, right?
Yes.
It's getting
It,
hotter.
yeah.
Like 2 weeks ago, I think I said even those chompas to go anywhere, and now I'm frying under the sun.
It's Cochabamba weather. In the morning, it's kind of cold, windy. Then it's hot. Then it gets windier, and then
Yeah, or in different parts of the city, like if you look over Quillacollo, you can see this giant black cloud. It's like está lloviendo a mares, and on the other side of the city, it's sunny, like medio del verano.
yeah, the problem with that is that a lot of people got cold. Uh, no, resfrió, ¿cómo se dice?
Yeah, they caught a cold.
They caught a cold due to the weather changes,
Yeah, it always
especially
happens. It's this
especially the
season, like
kids.
temporada de resfrios. It's always spring. Strangely enough, due to COVID, I don't know if this happened to you, but the entire year of 2020, I didn't get sick. Like I usually get sick en esta época because of the weather change, pero my body said no hay que enfermarnos con nada. so
No,
so yeah.
I get that. I think it's because due to COVID and all the care we got. Or in for instance, in my case, we take a lot of vitamins. We take a lot of care. So
Hmm.
I think our defenses are el sistema defensivo, ¿cómo se dice en inglés? Defenses.
Immune system.
The immune system it got stronger, so luckily we didn't get any cold. But when
Oh,
we
good.
were getting one, like starting to get some symptoms, we were very afraid because nowadays I don't think the first topic in your mind is, "Oh, I'm getting a cold."
Yeah,
I,
you think COVID,
I might get I might have COVID, so it's very frightening.
but you didn't have COVID at all, or anyone in your family.
My close family, no. I had a cousin that had, and sadly she passed away.
Oh wow, I'm sorry.
And my girlfriend's brother had COVID, but he managed to get through.
Hmm. Yeah, young people luckily managed to get better, but old people not so much. Igual, two of my aunts also passed away from COVID. So, sí, no ha sido
Oh, I'm
un
so
año muy
sorry.
amable. Sí. Ay,
No,
el COVID.
my cousin is younger than me. She was like
Oh,
23, I think,
oof,
but she had Down system. No, is it
syndrome.
Down syndrome?
Mhm.
Sorry, I was thinking in the band. I don't know why. She have Down. She have Down syndrome. Her
Mhm.
defense was like
Oh.
very weak.
Oh, I didn't know people with Down syndrome had like complicated immune systems.
Yeah, they are more likely to have
Mhm.
disease. So no, it was sad. And
Oh, that's
all her family got COVID. My uncle, her brothers. Luckily, they all uh, get through.
they got
They
better.
they got better. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's terrible. I'm so sorry. And yeah, the whole family, I've also heard of like many families, bastaba con que una persona esté and the entire family.
Yeah, here we heard a lot of sad stories about entire families dying from COVID. Now it starts with one of the members, like I don't know, the father, then the mother, and then it was very sad. But luckily now with the vaccine and all the no sería, ¿cómo dirías la conciencia de la gente? O sea, I don't know, maybe
Awareness,
actions.
people's
Exactly,
awareness.
people's awareness. I think that the COVID thing is getting very, I don't know how to say it. O sea, como que está ya más cuidado. O sea, la gente está cuidando mucho y es como que ya.
It's under control.
Exactly, it's under
It's
control.
more under
Está más
control.
controlado. Sí, está
Yeah.
mejor.
It feels like things are almost back to normal. You know, there's cultural events again because there wasn't concerts, there wasn't any like events like theater events or dance events, and there wasn't anything. But there's starting to be those things again. So, and people are going back to school, university, presencial. So that's good, I guess. We're going back to normal little by little.
Yeah, it's normal, but it's not normal.
Yeah. The new normal. No, they say
Exactly, it's the
there's
new
a
normal.
before COVID and an after COVID. Like el mundo cambió entirely. You see.
Yeah, and as you said, there's now reunions and all the stuff, but the the el miedo no, ¿cómo dices?
Yeah.
El miedo, ¿cómo
The
podría decirlo en esta
fear.
oración? The fear to COVID still remains, you know,
Yeah, the fear of COVID.
the fear of COVID.
Hi, Josh.
Hi, Drea. Good evening. Hi, Ariel.
Okay, hoy día, we are going to do reading. There's just two of us, and it's already almost 7:10. So I think we're gonna go ahead and start, or maybe wait like one more minute for your classmates. And let me check just one thing. You guys are both in the 1008 class, right? Los dos están en el 1008. Yeah. Okay. So, de todos modos, I want to preface this class by saying that it's going to be my last class with you guys. Starting next week, you're going to have a new teacher. So let's really aprovechar esta clase since it's the last time we're going to be seeing each other. Eso. A ver, les comparto pantalla para que hagamos el reading. Were you guys here last class on Wednesday?
Yes.
Yeah, dale. So we've done this, same logic. I'm going to give you guys 7 minutes to read the text, and then we're going to go through the answers. So before we start, Josh, can you please read the title and tell us what you think the text is going to be about?
Yeah, young adult literature. Maybe it can be a description of that kind of literature. Well, literature for that kind of audience.
Are you familiar with what types of books fall into this genre of literature?
Yeah, maybe books like drama books or romance or science fiction. I don't know, maybe that kind of book.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to see a few of them. Things like, bueno, vamos a ver los ejemplos, but I really like this topic because I have my stack of young adult books ahí a mi lado. Okay, so eso, les comparto el link. And espera, más. There you go. And I'm going to give you guys 7 minutes to read it. There. All right. Are you both finished reading? Or is... Sí, no, vente, me lo leo.
Yes.
Dale. Any questions? Any part or word or anything that wasn't clear?
Yeah, I have a question, teacher.
Mhm.
In the second paragraph, we have like options. Are
A,
those
B, C,
the
D.
yes?
Estos
Are
no veo.
those the answers that we have to choose?
No, we're gonna see that when we do the practice. There's one type of question where they ask you to put a sentence somewhere in the paragraph where it would best fit. Entonces tú tienes que elegir allá entre en punto A, entre en punto B, punto C. Lo vamos a ver ahorita.
Ah, okay.
Eso. Okay. Eso, any other questions?
No, I think it was clear.
Dale. So we're gonna do the questions. Number one, Ariel, can you read the question and options, please?
Okay. In paragraph 1, the author of the passage implies that young adult literature is a separate genre from children's literature. Young adult novels were not written before the 1960s. Young adult literature may have been influenced by children's literature. Young adult novels often contain characters with unrealistic personalities.
Okay, and which one do you think it is?
I think it's the first one.
Okay, young adult literature is a separate genre from children's literature. Okay, why do you think that? Again, this is implied, right? So it's not something that's literally in the text, but you have to pick up from information. What information tells you that this is the answer?
Well, at the beginning they said that the young adult did not come into a common use until the 1960s,
Mhm.
and I imply with that that there wasn't a genre for the young adult. And then they said that in contrast to children's literature, uh, like the children's literature have like a specific topic.
Mhm.
The young adults, the teenagers
Mhm.
needed like a new topic to read. So I imply that they are the text didn't say this is a different genre,
Mhm.
but I think it's implicit.
It implies that there's a distinction, right, between what kids read and what these young adults, what these teenagers are interested in reading. And
Exactly.
so, yes. And yes, that's the correct one. So good. This one was a little difficult because it's kind of hard to interpret this, I guess, but it's in that, that it makes a distinction between what children want to read or need to read and what teenagers and young adults that they want to read different topics, their mind is in a different place. So exactly. Good. Thanks, Ariel. Next one. Okay. Josh, can you please read the question and the options, please?
Why does the author mention the poem The Love Song of J. Alfred Rufford in paragraph 1? To refute the legitimacy of young adult literature as a distinct genre, to suggest a fundamental theme of all young adult literature, to undermine the superiority of poetry as serious literature, to provide an example of literature that young adults may not understand well.
All right. And which one do you think it is?
I'm between the second one and the last one.
All right. Okay, so vamos eliminando, right, from top to bottom. To refute the legitimacy of young adult literature as a distinct genre. So the entire paragraph, ya hemos visto que más bien sí lo está distinguiendo as a different genre to children's literature, to other types. So refute is like to negar or to argue against, but he's not doing that en todo caso, le está dando mucha validez, so it's not this one at all. Next one, to suggest a fundamental theme of all young adult literature. So what is this implying? That it's all, no es una totalidad, fundamental, that is kind of like the root. And here we say, ultimately, young adult literature, es una generalización, ultimately reflects the struggle of adolescents to answer the question to this poem, do I dare disturb the universe? So kind of this last question is saying, in essence, toda la literatura young adult tiene esta pregunta, este fondo. So I would go more with this one. It seems to be more this one. Let's leave it pendiente. To undermine the superiority, sorry, of poetry as serious literature. We're not discussing poetry at all, if it's serious or not, or in the rest of the text, we don't talk about poetry. So this one also not at all. And the last one, to provide an example of literature that young adults may not understand well. We're talking about like they want to answer a question, right? But here I think is the key. It ultimately reflects the struggle. Refleja la lucha, habla de la lucha of these kids. So it talks about the theme. So I would go for the second one. Do you agree, Josh?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree.
I agree with the second answer.
All right, so yes. Yay. Sorry if my internet is a little bit slow today, guys.
Don't worry, it's Bolivian internet. What can we expect?
Yeah, everyone's using it, so it's kind of slow. Okay, these types of questions also ask us to like ask what we're referring to. Pick up from context. So Ariel, could you read the question, the options, and then tell us which one you think it is?
Okay, the phrase that particular work in paragraph 2 refers to passages, first love, exploration, or 17th summer. The last one, 17th summer.
Yeah. Also because it's particular, so it's specific. Sabemos que vamos a nombrar un nombre, una institución, algo en particular. And work, like la obra de fulanito de tal, o tal obra. Yes. Yes. Good, thanks. Okay, the word unruly in paragraph 3 is closest in meaning to. Josh, can you read the options y nos dices cuál crees que es?
Entire, chaotic, artistic, or progressive. I will go with B, with chaotic.
Okay, so the chaotic 1960s. Do you agree, Ariel? What do you think?
Yeah, I was thinking that chaotic was a closest meaning. I don't know. I don't think why unreliable. How do you pronounce it?
Which one? Unruly.
Unruly.
Mhm.
I think it's been like there's
Oh.
no rules there. So
Exactly, good. Separating the words, like breaking it up into little pieces, buscar el origen etimológico, that always helps to understand. And yes, it's exactly the unruly 1960s. All right. According to paragraph 3, young adult authors were able to write more honestly because, Ariel, can you read the options? Y nos dices cuál es.
the 60s fostered a more permissive climate and welcomed controversy. Young adults desire novels that address contemporary issues. A string of more realistic novels paved the way for mature subject matter. The characters of popular young adult novels grew more troubled. And I
Nice.
think it's B.
The characters of popular young adults
No,
grew
no, no.
more
B,
troubled.
B, not D. The
What
second
is
one.
that? Okay.
Yes.
Young adults desired novels that address contemporary issues. Josh, do you agree?
Yeah, I agree.
All right, let's go ahead with this one. A string of more realistic novels paved the way for more mature subject matter. Again, we have to look for clues y algunas cosas pueden estar implícitas que no sean así. In this case, here's the part, no siempre les dije, alguna partecita les van a intentar engañar, or in the statement, especially in the options they give you. Here it's in that young adults desired. So sería como que el público que recibe estas novelas, el público quiere y pide. But we don't talk about the audience, really. We don't talk about how young adults receive these or ask for these or anything. More like the way authors wrote, especially in this paragraph. Los autores, qué temas trataban. The focus is on the authors. So I think it would be more. Here we mention, noted that the focus on culture and serious themes, igual palabras hermanitas, more realistic novels, mature, serious, themes, subject matters, son hermanitas, made it more acceptable for the next generation of young adults to write candidly. Candid es como cándido, ¿no? O sea, openly, truthfully about teen issues. So es eso, estamos hablando de los autores. Eso es. And next one. Okay, in paragraphs 2 and 3, the author mentions all of the followings as themes in young adult literature, except Josh, please read the options y nos dices cuál es.
Teenage romance, rebellion against leadership, origins of cultural trends, physical maturation. I will say C.
Origins of cultural trends. And this one also like from general knowledge, if you've ever read a young adult novel, or no, sabemos, son very popular. They all talk about romance, like you said. Things like The Hunger Games or Divergent talk about this. And since it's like teenage, aims at teenagers, it also talks about coming of age, physically becoming an adult. Y no nos hablan de
Teacher,
cultural
but
trends.
in the second paragraph, in the D option, they said that particular work spawned similar novels focusing on day-to-day concerns of teenagers as they develop their own music, languages, dress, and attitudes. That's like a cultural thing or not?
Yeah, the origin of cultural trends. But when we're talking about cultural trends, well, I interpret it, the first thing I think of is kind of like subcultures. Like, no, teenagers tend to fall into, no, we all, o te vuelves emo, o te vuelves, I don't know, like you fall into something, right? So all those subcultures, I don't know, los punks, los everything, eso entiendo como un cultural trend. And it doesn't really talk about how these start in teenagers. They maybe how they find these things in themselves. No, individualmente, every kid is gonna find how they dress, speak, act. But como un trend cultural, no, la palabra sería el trend el que no es.
Okay.
Dale. Which of the following best expresses the essential information in the highlighted sentence? In paragraph 4. Incorrect answer choices change the meaning in important ways or leave out essential information. So lo que les decía, or some part is going to be incorrect in this statement, or it's going to leave out information. It's going to be incomplete. So let's see one by one, kind of like parafrasear, ¿no? The best expresses que parafrase esto mismo. Ariel, can you please read the paragraph or the sentence?
Okay. After a brief lull LOL.
Well,
LOL, in which novels feature lighter content, focusing on reliability, innocent teen social drama, or Hollywood-style horror. Young adult fiction experienced a resurgence of popularity at the start of the 21st century when authors shifted to unreal topics such as fantasy, the paranormal, and dystopia.
okay. So that's the sentence. We're talking about how it changed, the topics changed back into different things, no? So vamos a ir eliminando. First one. Josh, can you read the first option, please?
Young adult novels faced a backlash against the less serious subject matter of the late 20th century.
What do you think, guys? Does this express the same thing?
No, I don't think.
Where's the part that's incorrect?
Uh, well, the paragraphs said that uh, the the young adult genre had a resurgence due to a shift in the topics, but they don't mention like there was a backlash.
Yeah, they never mentioned like the external opinion or any critique or anything to this. So, like, next option, Josh, can you read, please?
Authors rejected the light, horror-influenced subject matter of the 1990s and explored more important themes.
What do you guys think? Does this express the same thing?
No.
No? Why do you think
No.
so?
Because the paragraph doesn't mention that the authors rejected the the topics.
Again, and no point like we're talking about anything negative about backlash, rejection, nothing. So these words son clave que son correctas. Third option, young adult literature lost a portion of its audience when authors moved away from teen dramas and horror novels. Is this true or not? ¿Expresa lo mismo? No, right? For the same reason. We're not talking about any rejection, any like bad views towards this genre. And last one, Ariel, can you read, please?
Writers re-energize young adult fiction by introducing different subject matter with a particular focus on the fantastical. And
What do you
I
think?
this is the correct answer.
Yeah, that's the correct one. Yes, and good. So they give you like this hints right here. You have to look for little parts of this statement that may be incorrect, parts of information that aren't true. Okay, which of the following can be inferred from the quote from Michael Cart in paragraph 5? So let's dot is a quote here. Teens are caught between two worlds, childhood and adulthood, and in young adult literature, they can navigate those two worlds and sometimes the dualities of other worlds. Una mentira, pues una tu cita del Michael Cart. Where are you? Here we go. This is the quote. So Josh, can you read the quote, please?
Critic Michael Card notes that all young adult literature tackles difficult themes and equips readers for dealing with the realities of impending adulthood and for assuming the rights and responsibilities of citizenship.
All right, the realities of impending adulthood. Okay, so Ariel, can you please read the options?
Okay. Some proponents of young adult fiction believe that it can correct teenagers' false assumptions about adult life.
Okay, what do you guys think of this one? Does it say this? Implica esto? Is it implying this?
I
We're
think
talking.
no.
No, why not? We have keywords. We have the same things. We're talking about adulthood, adult life. What's the part that would be wrong or feels incorrect?
the part that says that it can correct teenagers' false assumptions.
Yeah, we never mention if they have any assumptions or anything. So yes, this one, no. Josh, can you read the next one? Y nos dice si crees que es la respuesta correcta.
Other critics that had charged that young adult literature occasionally provides negative role models for adolescents.
And what do you think? Can we infer this from the quotes?
No.
Nada que ver, right? We're not talking about negative role models. And in any case, I don't think anyone has ever said reading, like, I don't know, the Hunger Games es un mal ejemplo. So nada que ver. All right, next one. Cart believes that young adult literature helps to guide young readers in their progression towards adulthood. What do you think of that one?
I think that is the correct answer.
Yes, I agree. It's saying, it's kind of paraphrasing. You also have similar words, the same idea. No implica, almost like no pone palabras en la boca del autor, right? It's not saying or implying anything that the author hasn't said. I would go with this one, pero veremos la última por si acaso. Political intentions may influence the message of young adult literature and what trials the characters face. Again, we're not talking about politics at all throughout the text, I think, so tampoco nada que ver esta. And yes, I would go for the third one. And yes, that's the right one. Okay, this is the one I was telling you about. In this type of question, they give you this sentence that you see here, and you have to place it somewhere in the paragraph. A good guide to this is looking at the beginning of the sentence. Su conector o con que abre. No, if it's a contrasting connector, like on the other hand, or in contrast, or despite this, or we have to look for the previous sentence. Tiene que ser una idea contraria, no? It has to be contradicting something. If it says due to this, or for example, si empieza con eso, we have to look for the sentence before, introduciendo tal vez un tema, que luego está de ejemplo. So, la oración. Can you read, please, Ariel?
Okay. In its formative years, the genre more often did the former, working with relatively light subject matter.
Okay, so here we're talking about the former. So en la oración previa habría que mencionar algo, ¿no? Algunas dos opciones, porque algo tiene que estarse refiriendo a esto. Working with relatively light subject matter. So busquemos. Josh, what do you think? Where could you place this sentence? Para empezar, el A no es, porque no menciona nada antes. So others, ¿qué piensas?
Mm, maybe C or D. I will go with those two.
Okay, veamos qué viene antes de estas oraciones. So here we have from the mid-1940s and it's sometimes reflected and sometimes challenged social norms. So they're giving us two, nos están listando dos cosas, ¿no? A veces reflected, a veces challenged. Porque este implica que nos están mencionando dos cosas. Y de las dos cosas, la primera es trabajar con temas más ligeros. So I would maybe go for letter C, porque de las dos opciones, reflejar la sociedad y desafiar la sociedad, reflejar puede ser un poco más ligero. Or letter D, let's see what comes before it. The earliest example may be a novel published in 1942 that explored first love and adolescence rites of passage. We're also mentioning two things. We're mentioning first love and the rites of passage. Entonces, esta oración, si la ponemos acá, did the former, we would be talking about first love. And it would be referring to first love as a relatively light subject matter in comparison to rites of passage. So, entre estas dos, C y D, what do you think, guys? Which one fits better?
I think it's C.
Okay. Do you both agree?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, let's go with C. And yes, that's the right one. Good, guys. And last one. In this type of question, we have to make a summary. Okay, they give us the first sentence, and then we have to choose 3 of these options to form a summary. Okay, so this question is worth 2 points on the test. The way the strategy that works for this is reading each of the ideas and questioning, is this a main idea or is this a supporting detail? Okay, otra forma de verlo es que si se cuenta una historia, si se cuenta algo cronológico in the text, then is this event important to the story? Es como que un punto importante para que suceda el resto de la historia. So we have to identify which points are important like that, and we can choose them to make the summary. So the first sentence is fiction for young adults, a relatively new form of literature, took form as teenagers were first considered a distinct group of readers. First sentence. Ariel, can you read it, please?
Okay. The primary themes of young adult fiction are close to those found in more mature literature, diverging from simpler messages in children's publications.
What do you think? Main idea or supporting detail?
I think it can be a main idea.
It is a main idea because it's defining what it is about young adult literature that makes it different, unique. I agree, that's a main idea. Second one, Josh, can you please read the sentence?
As young adult literature took form, it initially simply reflected contemporary youth society, but then took a turn toward darker and more honest subject matter.
Is this a main idea or a supporting detail?
Maybe it's a supporting detail.
Okay, why do you think so?
Because it's saying like the story of adult literature, young adult literature.
Yeah, it's kind
like
of
the past.
Yeah, the history of it, like how it changed. And I think justo por eso is that it is kind of important because young adult literature now, what we know it as now, cosas así, post-apocalypticas and all that, the darker subject matters, is very different from how it originally started. So I think this point is important to explain how it is what it is today. So I think it would be important. Lo vamos a marcar, pero igual es por si acaso, vamos a ver los demás. Next one, Ariel, can you read it, please?
Okay. Common motifs connect various forms of youth fiction, with examples helping to guide readers through the transitions to adulthood. Teacher, motifs is like motivos?
Motifs is themes. Como ponte, si hay algún artista visual, algún ilustrador y siempre dibuja vaquitas, o siempre hay una vaquita en su dibujo, es un motif de vaquita. Esos son temas, imágenes, cosas que identificamos.
Okay.
So what do you think? Is this a supporting detail or a main idea?
I think it could be a sporting idea.
it's a supporting idea, I think, because while we are mentioning that it mentions several topics, it's also kind of already implied in the bigger, more developed ideas. This doesn't really feel very important, or it doesn't, no aporta la historia de cómo ha llegado acá, no aporta la definición de qué es young adults literature. So I agree that this is kind of a supporting detail. Next one, Josh, can you read the sentence, please?
Controversial subject matter inhibited
Inhibited.
the growth of the genre and led to a lull, during which authors avoided sensitive topics.
What do you think? Is this main idea or supporting detail?
Maybe it's a main idea.
Okay, because it's also telling the story, right? Cronológicamente. And controversial subject matter inhibited the growth of the genre and led to a lull. So let's go back in the text. Say cuando está como que en pausa, when it's sort of in a lull, like sleeping. Como dormido, pausado.
That's the part of the.
Here we go.
Oh. After a brief lull, in which novel?
Here we go. But I think this part, I think, is a little, it's implied, but it's not really like the main idea, or no es lo más relevante de mencionar esta parte, no? We're not talking about really that controversial subject matter inhibited the growth. It's not like people said, oh no, están hablando de cosas muy densas. We should not let our children read this, or we should stop writing about this. I don't think controversy is the correct word here. So I also wouldn't go with that one, but it's also a maybe. We're gonna leave these two in maybe. Que también pueden ser. Okay, next one. More recent novels span both the unreal and real, although unifying themes can be found in either case. What do you think, guys?
I think it's a main idea.
Okay. So, because it also helps define what is young adult literature. So with this, we would have the three. But I read the last one is the type of setting a young adult novel, the type of setting of a young adult novel can greatly affect which message it is able to convey to its readers. What do you guys think?
I think that will be a supporting idea.
A supporting detail, right? Because it's also implied, it's not said directly. They don't mention it that much, or it's not that important. So between these three, and esto diremos que ya no para nada, but between these three, do you agree that it's this one, or are you, podría ser alguno de estos dos? What do you think, guys?
Personally, I think that the one that says controversial, it's more like a supporting detail, because it's like it tells you a little bit of the story, a turn point, you may say, because the paragraph mentions now that they have to change to another topic to get a new audience, but I don't think that this is like a must told in the history of the young adults. And as you said, I think that defining what is now the genre, that is something like on the real or the real stuff, but they are unified by the common themes that they use.
All right. This one is also talking about, it also kind of defines it, right? With examples to guide readers to the transition to adulthood, which we've mentioned at several points. Otra forma de ver es que si el tema o la idea que está transmitiendo la oración se repite muchas veces a lo largo del texto, si se habla de esto aquí, 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 so then it is a main idea. So maybe I would be between these two. So we're between common motifs and unifying themes. Josh, between these two, which one do you think?
I will go with unifying themes.
Okay, so we're gonna go with unifying themes. The other two we're pretty sure, right? That they're not. All right,
Okay, the first one was wrong, and the common motif was correct.
the common motif was correct. All right, this could be, a supporting detail. I think it is important to distinguish it from other types of literature, but this could be a supporting detail. These are the ones that are kind of the hardest. But so that would be the last type of question. That's all the types of questions they can offer you, or that you're expected to find on a TOEFL test. So, eso, guys, we're gonna leave it there. I don't know if you have any questions, comments, any advice you'd like to ask for.
Not really. I only think that we need practice a little more. As you said, these type of questions are tricky.
Mhm.
So with a little more practice, I think we will be able to do a great exam.
Yeah. Like I said, guys, especially this part, like reading, it's not only reading, o sea, sí, practiquen, practice a lot, read everything as much as you can, but you also have to play around with logic a little, like tener un poco de no sé, juego de lógica, because they do that. Like you've seen, they try to trick you with certain words at parts, or not trick you exactly, but they try to throw you off with information that's not fully correct. So, eso también es algo de lógica. Pero eso, guys, anything else? Any comments, questions?
Personally, no. I don't know if Joshua has something to ask.
No,
Dale. Todo
thank you,
claro.
Drea.
Uh,
All was
Thanks,
clear.
guys. So, well, like I said, this is going to be my last class. This Friday is my last day teaching you guys. So, starting next week, you're going to have a new teacher. So, despedido oficial. It was great, having this experience with you guys, teaching you, getting to know you. Y eso, when you do take the TOEFL exam, best of luck. You're going to do amazing. I know you guys have plenty of level, plenty of disposición to do it great. So, yeah, so good luck when you take it.
Thanks, Drea. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, teacher, and good
Dale,
luck.
guys. Les mando la encuestita y bueno, ya saben, la llenan y pueden salirse de la reunión. So eso, guys, have a nice weekend. And this.
Thank you, teacher.
Thank
Have
you,
a good
Drea.
weekend also.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, Joshua.
Goodbye, Aria.